10 years. You know, I actually started like a YouTube series where I was going through each of the members on XXL. I started with Denzel Curry. I then did Uzi. And I just never went back to it. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever finish that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Probably not at this point. I'm kind of disinterested because I'm not gonna lie. I really want this to do it for Lil Yachty, but I didn't start with Yachty. Probably should have just made a video about Yachty. But yeah, XXL, the class that changed everything. I saw this pop up on my TikTok feed, and it popped up on my YouTube homepage. So I'm like, fuck it, I was there. Chad, if he wasn't there for this, you missed out, man. You missed out, man. That's literally one of the most legendary things of all time. If you wasn't there for that, then you don't know. But let's get into this video, y'all.
Currently, I'm putting my kid on to the greatest cipher of all time.
Hood.
2016 freestyle. Really on my wrist.
Really on my wrist. Really on your wrist.
What?
30 to your face.
What?
60 to your face.
What?
90 to your face.
What?
That's a closed case.
No.
Woo, you a whole nigga. Yeah, you washed up. Y'all wasn't there for that, man. Y'all wasn't there.
Freshman is a franchise that XXL puts together every year. We've done for the past 19 years, where we try to predict the next 10 to 12 new artists coming out that are gonna blow up, maybe being on the cover as a solo artist one day.
Freshman class, in my judgment, has a legacy of being the singular most important look an emerging artist can receive in hip hop.
It's not a
That's cap, but all right.
popularity contest, and it's not just about who's the best rapper, it's who's got the best chance to be a rap star.
It's the most coveted, important place we look to discover our new acts.
The freshman class, all the way dating back to when it first started, it's birthed a lot of great artists.
I wanted to be a freshman because I remember who y'all
I
had.
have different artists in person on Zoom where we sit down and get to know them, we hear music that they have going on, the label they're signed to, what their attitude's like, what their
So you actually have to pitch yourself to be on XXL? Chad, is that facts? You had to pitch yourself to get on XXL?
reputations like, what their legal situation's like, what's going to catapult them or what's going to stop them.
Man, what happened to designer, dog?
Arguing as a staff over who's going to be the freshman.
XXL is looked at as like the gauge of who's gonna be the next thing. If XXL says that this is the guy, then this is gonna be the guy.
That freshman cover, it really meant something. You know what I'm saying? It was like a real stamp for.
Hey, shout out P, get better, bro.
That freshman stamp, then you will solidify putting that work in this game.
It gives you the opportunity to be seen and heard by fans of the XXL brand, fans of your peers who are on the cover with you. It does a lot for the ecosystem of hip hop as a whole.
And so the freshman list every year is a guaranteed conversation starter.
And it helps the rest of us in media, like, discover new things that we didn't necessarily think of before.
And not only is it a guaranteed conversation starter, there's no way to garner agreement. It's a feature, not a bug.
In the past, when I've spoken to other artists, I'm like, oh my God, I saw you in the freshman cover. They look at me and they've said, like, that was fire. So it gives them a chance to, like, represent not only themselves, but their hometown, who they are.
I think there's not a lot of recognition in hip hop in general. This is almost like the gold standard of early recognition for artists, or the springboard for them to actually gain fanfare outside of their traditional fan base.
XXL does a beautiful job of introducing artists to people that don't necessarily have them on the radar.
Every year, even me, I'm like watching and being like, oh wow, this, and then sometimes they'll be like, I don't know who that person is. And I'll look up their music.
Chad, is it crazy to say that they wasted a spot on Lil Dicky? Is it crazy to say that? It might be a little crazy to say that. Here's the thing about Lil Dicky, man. It's like, you know, in high school, I was still like going through that like white rapper phase. Cause like those are the rappers that I just liked. And he was one of those artists that like, I eventually had to realize, man, this shit sucks. This shit is bunzaroni and cheese. I'm not gonna lie. That Brain versus Lil Dicky tape or whatever, that shit. I don't know why I like that shit, dog. Like I don't. And it makes it even more mad knowing that he stopped rapping literally like 2 years after he like got on the cover. Like Dave became a successful show, then he just stopped rapping. Nigga made Freaky Friday with Chris Brown, just stopped making music. And we somehow allowed that nigga to get that shit off, bro.
And then I'll be like, and I probably wouldn't have looked up their music otherwise.
Nobody's ever paid to be a freshman. We've never gotten anything in exchange for putting somebody on the cover. It is completely coming from a journalistic place. It's untainted.
It's an artist's way of showing like, I made it, I have arrived. Something that we all look forward to every year.
Downside of the internet is the removal of taste-making, people not respecting people who have good taste. The XXL freshman has maintained a cachet of when you see it, you go, I need to stop and see what this is about.
We're doing it because we truly love hip hop and want to make a platform that highlights new artists in a way that no one else does.
So the 2016 XXL freshman class, Lil Uzi Vert, Kodak Black, Designer, 21 Savage, Denzel Curry, Lil Yachty, G Herbo, Anderson .Paak, Dave East, and don't forget Lil Dicky.
You know what's funny about the 2016 class, chat? They're not technically even like the biggest class in terms of like birthing the biggest rappers. That's like the real funny part of 2016. Like, it's really just one cipher. Because I promise you, niggas do not remember the fact that Anderson .Paak was in that class. In fact, when we look at Anderson .Paak nowadays, I don't even associate him with like that XXL like class. Like when we think of XXL, let's be honest here. When we think of XXL 2016, we think of Denzel Curry, we think of Lil Yachty, we think of 21 Savage, we think of Lil Uzi, you know what I'm saying, and Kodak Black. We don't think of Lil Dicky. We don't think of G Herbo. We do not think of Dave East. Like, we don't think of these niggas in that class. We think of one cipher. One cipher. And that cipher came even to birth the biggest rappers that like have been rapping today. Like Kendrick Lamar was on XXL. J. Cole, Travis Scott, Future. You know what I'm saying? Like, there have been bigger rappers. But again, the most legendary cipher of all time. So, you know, that obviously makes sense.
That was really on the cusp of when the internet and SoundCloud were taken over. You saw a lot of artists standing out, being themselves, different styles.
Is kind of the end of the era that had just preceded it. All of the artists kind of in the years leading up to that had really been propagated in large part by the blog era.
Hip-hop was becoming more.
I forgot Shy Glizzy was on the cover of XXL in 2015. Like, that is a rapper that I totally forgot was on there. And I was thinking about DMV rappers that were on the cover. I'm trying to think about where they're at now. Obviously, Logic will go on to become one of the most successful rappers of this generation, period. Even though a lot of niggas think he corny. Can't deny the numbers. Nino Pay, I feel like his hype kind of went down. In a weird way, I kind of think XXL was kind of bad for him. I don't know. It just didn't help him. Like, I think he talked about this a little bit where he said, somebody asked him in a random interview. Nigga was like, bro was like, you know, what's something that you regret doing or whatever. He was like, I regret signing to a label or something, which is why I mentioned that I'm surprised that you had to audition for XXL. But he was like, I regret signing to a label because he was like, I could have basically did all this myself. Instead, I have somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I could have made way more money. And I feel like XXL hasn't done anything for Nino Pay. Shy Glizzy, I feel like they didn't do anything for Shy Glizzy. Like, Shy Glizzy's very known in like the DMV in Baltimore. But I don't know, outside of that, I don't know who really knows Shy Glizzy like that. Like, I don't think XXL really helped. But he's kind of a big fish in a small pond. So I think it worked out. Rico Nasty. It's like, if you know Rico Nasty and you're into that rage, rock, hyper pop lane, then you know who Rico Nasty is. Obviously, if you follow me, y'all know I love Rico Nasty. But yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody else. I don't know if Wale was ever on the cover, but if Wale was, and maybe, But
class was a way
who
of
the fuck
saying,
is
let's
Kid
put some rigor
Kid?
to it, let's put
Rory?
some order to it, and let's
Jesus,
also
who
play
are
some
these
bets.
niggas?
At some point, I don't know where in 2016, but I started to realize like, oh, this is a shipping paradigm.
There was a lot of conversation going on around this time about mumble rap or the SoundCloud rapper. There was a divide coming.
Former manager of Lil Uzi Vert. Don't call him that.
I hadn't seen.
So this perfect inflection point. The good old times versus the new day.
Troy Ave,
2016
K
comes
Camp.
along, the internet is still a viable promotion mechanism, but people we used to think of as blog rappers are gone. It's replaced with innovative style, street credibility,
Trinidad,
real personal
Joey
flair.
So it's diverse, sort of represented a cross-section of lyricism and true street stories. People were tuned into that at a peak in 2016.
Hip hop was always really valued authentic.
I think it's a hit. Before that point in time, you had to walk into a building and ask someone for permission.
When you think of
Look at the goat. Look at Wayno.
Little Uzi. When you think of Florida, you might not necessarily think about Kodak Black. Initially, you might think about Legacy, Trick Daddy, Rick Ross, but now Kodak is ushering a new thing. When you think of Atlanta, you don't necessarily think of Yachty. You look at that cover and it's possibly the most diverse. Rap is always perceived as this one thing. Like, if you don't rap this way, then you're not gonna be.
A lot of the folks in this list are pure internet stars, which isn't to say they're not tethered to a local city or community.
I don't know about that.
Really famous.
I don't know about that. G Herbo maybe. Anderson Paak had Malibu, so I don't know. I don't know about that. Lil Dicky, I guess, was internet famous because he got put on by like a freestyle or something, right? Designer, I mean, guess internet Vine helped a lot. I'm trying to think. Dave East, no. Dave East is like a very much known New York rapper, but I wouldn't consider that like he was internet famous. I think he was just like locally famous. Kodak, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm totally rocking with that, but I don't know if I totally disagree with it either.
Off the internet. Folks like Cole or Kendrick very much were in the mold of traditional 90s or 2000s rappers.
Remember, we were coming off the era where the last traditional superstar came from, where they looked like a traditional rapper. This group of guys all looked different. Uzi with pink hair, Yachty had red braids.
I had my red hair, my braids, and my beats, and people thought I was crazy. They thought I was gay, weird, and just like, who is this nigga?
Breaking the norm, going against the grain, Yachty painting his nails, or Uzi, his different piercings. We hadn't seen rappers be as...
I wouldn't say visually attractive to the traditional hip-hop eye.
But I think if you, as a young person, consuming all of your hip-hop content on the internet, you look at someone like Uzi or someone like Yachty, and immediately you're like, you're a creature of the internet.
The copy on the title was a new wave. There was like a pivot happening between like what typically people would be like labeling someone as a great rapper, which is like super lyrical, being a quote unquote rapper's rapper. And I think the pendulum starts swinging to like this new era of hip hop.
Yeah, you see, I just got into like mad arguments about this actually. Because somebody, I think 50 Cent was on Ebro's new show, whatever. It was basically like no rapper at the age of like 60 should be like running shit. And he was kind of exaggerating, right? I mean, he might be talking about Jay-Z or himself, but like he was kind of exaggerating. But he's basically saying like niggas at 40 years old, 39 years old, 38 years old should not be running hip hop anymore. Hip hop was always for young men. And we get into this whole ageism conversation. And the thing that I like that they're talking about a lot and the thing that they're highlighting a lot is the fact that hip hop was so used to one thing, and then Lil Uzi and Kodak and all these other people brought in something different, when that's not necessarily true. Because Future wasn't like traditional hip hop. Young Thug wasn't like traditional hip hop. There's an argument to me that Travis Scott wasn't like traditional hip hop. So it was already there. But here's the key difference, though. They became undeniable, so they had to accept it. Migos at one point in time wasn't considered traditional hip-hop until they became the traditional mode that we know today. And I think that's the problem that we're running into nowadays when it comes to new stars in hip-hop like Yeet, like Playboi Carti. You know what I'm saying? Like, and embracing the newer generation is that they've already, the old heads, the gatekeepers have already given so much leeway to Uzi, to, you know, the niggas from 2016, 2017, 2018, right? And they don't want to get that leeway anymore. Like, they genuinely, and now granted, some of the music is poop. Some of these niggas are ass. I'm not going to disagree with that. However, the gatekeepers, the old heads, because they were so mad at the fact that niggas like Lil Uzi got popular, niggas like 21 Savage got popular, niggas like Lil Yachty got popular, niggas like XXL Ski Mask got popular, that they just had to kind of eat it. Now it just feels like when somebody is coming from that tree, they're like, oh, absolutely not, absolutely not. We barely wanted to give this any shine. We think about to give you some shine, and that's kind of what it feels like. And that's why I get frustrated when I hear these conversations, because it's just like, shut the fuck, yo, you niggas should just get out the way. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. At no point in time should I be seeing 40-year-old niggas talking about the state of hip hop. Like 45, 50-year-old niggas talking about the state of hip hop. It's time to move on. I like when y'all talk about T.I. I like when y'all talk about Kendrick. I like when y'all talk about, talk about, you know, that. But every time y'all mention Playboy Cardi, every time y'all mention Ye, or y'all talk about the new generation of rappers, it's always fucking negative. It's always negative until it becomes so popular and so hot that you have no choice but to dick eat it. And that's the shit that annoys me about this shit, bro. It was literally happening back then. It was literally happening back then, bro.
We're pulling up in the all white, and it was early too, and it was super secretive.
I didn't know what to expect. All we knew was we was gonna get outfits. We needed a couple freestyles ready, that we was gonna be taking photos and all this stuff all day.
I remember the vibe the day of the shoot being pretty upbeat. A lot of industry people behind the scenes, management teams, label reps. Everybody's kind of like separated. Every artist has their own space, their own room, getting ready, they're preparing. I'm backstage chopping it up.
Everybody was pretty much keeping to themselves. A few people knew each other. I think people were a little nervous. Everybody wanted to do their best.
I remember walking into that room and I was like, why is Weird Al Yankovic here?
I think everyone initially perhaps landed wherever physically they were brought, and everyone was kind of separate initially, but then I just feel like as the day went on, there was a real camaraderie.
I get there that day, I see who I'm gonna be on the cover with. It was dope to me. A lot of those artists I was fans of.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count it off. 1, 2, 3. Make sure your eyes are open. Here, good energy on 3.
Nobody on the shoot didn't have the confidence to know that they belonged there.
I always felt like I belong. I'm supposed to be here. On some ego shit, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on the freshman cover. I know I am.
What's a little bit?
You know what's funny about that? Lil Yachty back then, niggas hated. He kind of had like this arrogance to him. Like, obviously, the infamous Joe Budden interview, but I think the reason why Joe Budden was so mad, because Yachty felt like he was the smartest nigga in the room, and Joe Budden was like, do you know these simple things? And Yachty didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Now, obviously, him and Joe Budden, like, pieced it up. But you can tell that, like, even Yachty's admitting right now, I ain't gonna lie, I had mad arrogance. Nigga, I thought I should have been here.
Intimidated. I didn't really know how I fit in. Looking around, I didn't know anyone. Everyone I felt had more emotion than me.
I found out Lil Dicky, me and him went to the same college. I didn't know that.
I remember just being in my little corner and just kind of keep.
It's funny that Anderson .Paak mentions that everybody had more emotion than him when he undoubtedly has the best album that entire year from this nigga. The nigga genuinely has like a top 4 album from 2016 in Malibu. The shit dropped right after like Rihanna's Auntie, like I think in January or in February or something like that. And the nigga was on the cover like 6 months later. Then the album will go on to have like crazy commercial success where you couldn't stop hearing songs from that album on commercials. Like, it's funny that he says that. Well, like, he would go on to probably have more, at least commercial motion and industry motion than all these niggas combined. Like, combined that year.
Keeping to myself, and then I remember Lil Dicky coming up and being like, man, I'm a huge fan of yours. That made me feel really good.
That day, I nailed everything from the interviews, the one freestyle alone. When you guys came to my room, it's like, it's time for the XXL Cypher. Dave East and G Herbo was there, so I'm like, okay, I think I got my stuff ready.
That was the first year artists got the beats in advance. Denzel got the wrong beat.
It was not the same beat.
Unfortunately, there was some confusion with the beat, and Denzel ended up in the cypher with the other 4 guys, with Savage, Yachty, Uzi, and Kodak, and I didn't know at that moment.
That makes so much sense. And I think I've heard this story before, but that makes so much sense. Denzel Curry, to this day, never felt like he fit that cypher. And that makes so much sense because that G Herbo, Davies, I think Anderson .Paak was in that cipher as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But that made so much sense because Uzi, 21 Savage, Lil Yachty, Kodak, that should have been the 4. That makes a whole lot more sense. And then Denzel Curry always felt like the nigga out of place because he could actually rap like really well, while the rest of these niggas were just vibes and sounds. Like 21 Savage versus objectively horseshit. It's hard though. Shit sounded hard. You know what I'm saying? But like if Denzel Curry actually came in there rapping, that makes so much sense that that nigga was not supposed to be there at all.
Like, how was that going to work out? Because I don't think Denzel really initially fit into that group, but it was kind of like, this is the beady guy. It landed this way, so we're going to see how it goes.
The category for that, for the most part, seemed to have fit Uzi, Yachty, Kodak, and Savage. People would kind of classify them together. Denzel kind of stood out how people may perceive a lyrical rapper.
I just always thought it was like, shit, if you're a rapper and you get thrown a beat, any beat, go.
By the time you guys was like, okay, we're ready to start shooting for the cipher, and y'all was like, who's gonna go first? Everybody looked at me, everybody started looking at each other, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go first.
Oh my God.
It's all about power.
Forget the rapping for a second. We'll get to the rapping. The first thing is, how do these guys look?
Kodak came in with Bantu knots. Lil Yachty had red hair. Uzi had purple locks and a purse.
21, just an incredible visage, face tattoo right in the center.
Everyone had their own unique style and presence, and that's what hip-hop is built off.
If you look at the 2015 cipher, that wasn't happening. So something had molted, like something had been sloughed off, and then there was this fresh visual approach to how should a rapper look.
Bitch, you know that. Yeah.
Everything on their own way. And I think that's why the kids celebrated them. They look at them kind of like rebels. It wasn't necessarily like the MCs that everybody's always so thirsty for. The most lyrical, no. They were all...
And being like, oh my God.
It just felt like the guys were just really living in real time and being present.
Yo, chat, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is so funny to hear everybody talking about the one cipher and not giving a fuck about G Herbo or Davies. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Niggas don't remember G Herbo and Davies being a part of this class. Niggas only remember Designer being a part of this class because, like, he was the biggest thing in, like, 2016. They got, like, the 2 biggest songs ever, and his freestyle went crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody really talking about Uzi, 21, and all them niggas. We don't give a fuck about Lil Dicky and Davies, nigga. I'm sorry, we don't care, nigga. We don't care. That's not what we come to this fucking video for, nigga. We come here for Denzel Curry, Lil Uzi, 21 Savage, Kodak, and Lil Yachty, nigga. Sorry, that's facts. It's facts.
When they were doing
no disrespect,
I was probably like in the hallway, like practicing. And trying to make sure I was like as good as I possibly could be. Like those guys were just like kind of flying by the seat of their pants and letting their essence speak for themselves. Boy, did that work.
The guys were ad-libbing each other. It was fun in it, almost like they was just horsing around, which was dope because in a cipher, like a lot of times it's one of their biggest opportunities. People take it very, very seriously.
The magic of the video is, damn, these guys.
Yeah, that is another thing too. Like they did start like a trend with that. Like beforehand, the BET cipher, you know, ciphers were like dead ass serious. Like niggas really got on there, really rapping. Everybody would shut the fuck up and let them niggas just get their shit off. You could not interrupt them. And then here come these niggas ad-libbing over these niggas shits, like going crazy, celebrating with niggas. And that kind of like, if you don't do that nowadays, you're looked at as weird. You know, like if you don't do that nowadays, the vibe doesn't seem fun. It doesn't, you know, and like maybe that's like old traditional niggas maybe don't like how they did it, but like growing up is like realizing like, yeah, that really did kind of start something.
Like each other. and they're really happy to be representatives of this generation.
On my waist, 30 to your face, 60 to your face, yeah, 90 to your face, yeah, that's a closed case, yeah, you a old nigga, and you washed up.
Cipher that was so popular.
That I page washed up.
The sorry ass.
One of the producers that provided some of the beats, Sick With It, he was at the shoot, younger kid, and he was super excited about the opportunity.
Man, Kodak did not like that fucking kid.
Made a little sorry ass beat.
When Kodak said, "Who picked this sorry ass beat?" the whole entire set lost it.
You laughed, that guy over there, he laughed too.
I ain't gonna lie, I had my phone and I was recording, and the moment he said what he said, I literally just went.
Standing there watching the next front runners of the rap game, and one of the biggest pretty much disses his beat. Probably didn't feel good about it.
I remember them saying.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, hold on. What's his name? Joel Sick With It? Yo, have you made another beat since then, big dog? I ain't gonna lie, we gotta look at Discog up. We gotta look at Discog up, yo. We gotta look at Discog up, yo. Oh, you ain't made shit. You... Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. You ain't. Damn. Wait, did this nigga actually end this nigga career, gang? Yo, he really ended your career, gang? Snow the Product. Sheesh. I totally remember her, I guess. Bobby Sesh. Yo, this nigga Kodak really ended your career, bro? This nigga ain't made a beat for nobody since, nigga. Nigga shitted on your beat. That's the last time we heard of you, nigga. I ain't gonna lie, yo. You gotta send that nigga like a cease and desist or something, gang. Like, while you might have the most legendary beat, you will go on to not have another beat again for anything like notable. At least from what I've seen from quick Googles. I see this. You might get mad that I say that. And look, just correct me if I'm wrong, gang. But all I'm saying is I don't see nothing with a quick Googles, my nigga. I get that that's Google AIs, but I don't even see like a Wikipedia for you, my boy. So what do you want me to do?
I had my phone and I was recording, and the moment he said what he said, I literally just went.
Standing there watching the next front runners of the rap game, and one of the biggest pretty much disses his beat. Probably didn't feel good about it.
I remember them saying, a producer saying, like, this guy produced it.
I had a conversation with myself that happened very fast, and it said, not everybody likes your stuff, bro. Like, and that's okay, because that's the kind of skin you have to have in this game. I looked back, I looked forward, and I was like, it is what it is. Let's roll with it.
They dead fly. I ain't even gonna lie, this a garbage ass beat.
Here's the thing about XXL covers. When a freshman cover comes out, you kind of want to figure out if the team hit it or missed it.
People always got something to say about the XXL list every year, or who made the list every year.
Obviously, you're highlighting the artist. That comes with everything that artists come with.
Backpack East Coast purveyor of hip hop nerdery that I am, I don't think I had been ultra excited.
You've got the fan base who get a chance to engage with one another and argue in the comment section about the class.
I remember the memes. There was this one where they photoshopped garbage bags all over them, which I thought was so foul.
At first I was disappointed. I didn't understand. As I look back on it now though, like, let's be real, 2016 probably produced some of my favorite artists ever.
I know one thing, after we got that cover, our shows went up, opportunities went up. We used it as leverage for a lot of different things, and it gave us access to a lot of different things.
I feel like what it really did was like make me and my friends want to do like our own versions of ciphers.
They laugh about it now because, again, they proved so many
That's
people
a fact.
wrong.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, niggas did do that. Niggas saw that 2016 cypher. Niggas definitely started ciphering after that. That's a fact.
Clothing, podcasting, whatever realm that comes with hip hop, I feel like we all are still doing our one too.
There were people 10 years ago where it's like, you know, these are the main guys, and it just continuously changes. So I feel like it's important to just look at this whole thing and see how music evolves over time.
Almost every artist that we sit with wants to be part of freshmen. Most of them talk about how influential the 2016 class was. You've got these young artists now in 2026 coming up, how influenced they were by a class from 10 years ago.
For me, I was 12 years old. I was probably in this is like my introduction to like me
12 years old.
Why was the 26?
Chad, I was 14 when that shit came out, gang. 14 years old when that shit came out, gang. I ain't gonna lie. I'm hung as hell, yo. I was 14 years old when that class came out.
So big, we all had a different sound, a different style, different outlook. We still very relevant to this day.
2016 is the best class. I mean, when you go back, go and look at it. What the accolades are, what people have done, you'll see. These are the guys, and they still are the guys.
We've seen moments where people put the cipher in their baby's bassinet when the baby's
Battering my back because I didn't want to be seen as the odd man out.
That was my first time being on a real cover of a magazine that I personally used to read. So that to me was like even a sign like I'm damn near where I'm trying to get.
It meant so much to me because I was a kid looking at the interviews, Travis Scott, Lil B.
For the freestyles drop, the one that like come to my mind like first is Timmy Turner.
Burner, is this the most legendary XXL freestyle of all time? Serious question. Is this the most legendary XXL freestyle of all time? I'm trying to think. Kendrick's comes to mind. Weirdly enough, Logic's comes to mind. Oh no, actually, never mind. I lied. Logic's Cypher verse was really good, but his doesn't come to mind. Yeah. This deadass might be the most legendary freestyle of all time. At least XXL wise. I don't think there's one that comes close to this. I would have to check the views, right? I could be talking about my ass, but like whenever I think of XXL freestyles, I immediately think of this one.
If you go back to my 2016 best singles of the year list, that's my #1 song of the year. This kind of like low guttural blues tone mixed with Atlanta cadence, and the fact that it was so stark, shot so cleanly, and
Atlanta cadence, but he's from New Jersey, but right?
You get shaken around by it, and then you get like spit back out into the real world.
What I think made our class, the 2016 class, so big and global.
Now, chat, he acts like that without the drugs. We see how he acts now. He used to act like that back then as a character. And we see how he acts now.
It was just the influence that we had as artists.
We've seen Lego sets of the freshman class, art that's inspired by the freshman class, and people who have drawn it or made t-shirts of it or made their own pictures of it, tattoos that people have gotten, the reach that keeps going on every year. 10 years later, we still see new stuff.
Rolling on my wrist, rolling on my beach, 30 on my waist, 30 to your face.
You can't get on the cover without having already proven something, but once you make that cover, it opens so many eyes and so many doors.
There's nobody that's been chosen for the freshman class that it's hurt their career. Part of the rites of passage.
I don't know about that. I think some artists would look at it differently. I think some artists will look at it differently. Is it a big look? Yeah, it's not the look that it once was. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about modern day, at least. It's not the look that it once was. Nobody cares anymore, unfortunately. Like it doesn't garner the internet attention, doesn't garner the views. People talk about it, be like, oh my God, I'm so unk, I don't know who these people are, and then they just move on. And it's like, you know, maybe I'm just in that algorithmic space, but I don't know. I just felt like it was bigger. Post 2020, I feel like was the year where it just stopped. Because in 2021 happened, and then that class dropped. You know, was Rod Wave on that class? I think Rod Wave was like, and Flo Milli were like probably the two notable people on that class. And then like Coyle Ray, DDG, it was just a bunch of niggas on that class. I'm not gonna lie.
To this point, you know, within hip hop, we're coming up on 20 years of freshman class. The who's who of who's been who in the rap game have been a part of that cover.
XXL has been around since the late 90s. This is a heritage magazine at this point that still is trying every year to help set the agenda for the future. That's not common. That's not really what's happening in the rest of media.
XXL is possibly the only platform that celebrates new artists that way, giving them a cover, giving them a voice, giving them an opportunity to not only showcase their talent, but where they're from.
Freshman is a tool, you know, for you to put in your bag and take along the way, just like a billboard, just like a big opportunity somewhere else. And it's really what you do or what you make with it of how beneficial it will be to you.
The 2016 class is not the most influential when it comes to rap. I think the 2016 class was influential when it comes to how artists present, how we put out.
See, and this is where we just start saying shit that's not true. What's the most influential class when it comes to rap then? What's the most influential class when it comes to rap then? Like, as an entire class, what's the most influential class? Denzel Curry became one of the leaders and the voices of the underground scene when it came to F the mainstream and lyrical rage, while also mixing in that mosh pit core, whatever. Yachty went on to be Yachty. Obviously, we know he has an entire fucking crew of niggas with him. Uzi is, if not one of the biggest pioneers when it comes to the current UG sound. Yak is literally everybody's inspiration in Florida at this point. 21 Savage. Designer obviously was from Future, but then people obviously looked at Designer, what he was doing. And then there's Herb. I don't know if there's a class more influential than these niggas. I don't know. Like, musically, I don't know. I'm trying to think. 2013, maybe. 2014, maybe. 2011. Like, maybe those three. But other than that, musically? And then 2017. 2017 is X, Playboy Cardi. They might have a
music, what rap can do for you.
There are just stars in there. They're like the people that have been in there have just gone up and up and up.
The people, that was what signified me making it. This year I was Times 100's most influential person. Those things are in the same bracket, I feel like.
Once you get on that cover, you're part of history. You're part of a conversation that now includes the fan base of everybody else on the cover.
All of those guys from that XXL class look back and say, wow, we really did something special. They'll look at themselves as the pioneers of that era of music. And honestly, for
the fuck the Lil Dicky do as a pioneer? My fault. See, I'm just hating on the nigga now. I am. I just don't like how white people come in to rap and then leave and don't, you know, but that's on me.
Easier to get it wrong than it is to get it right.
Looking back, do I think XXL got it right? Hell yeah. 1,000% right.
2036 Cypher will probably go crazier than the 2016 XXL Cypher. We don't know.
But it always comes from a place of putting the artists in a good spot, highlighting them, giving them an opportunity to shine, celebrating them.
Engaging every year with young artists and saying, we want to be a part of your journey and we want to help shape
Coach,
this whole party that we're talking.
Yeah, Ty Dolla $ign is also one of the most famous, but not for a good reason. The nigga just stared into the camera with his like very gray eyes and just started like sexting me. Like when niggas think of light-skinned niggas, like niggas think of that Ty Dolla $ign freestyle. That shit was absolutely wicked.
That's a huge thing that I imagine will never go out of fashion and also will never not be controversial.
Chad, what y'all think, man? Most legendary class, obviously. But y'all let me know, what was your favorite XXL class? 2016, 2014, 2013, 2011. 2017. Those would like be my four. Those would be like my four. Didn't I do a whole ranking video of all the classes? I did. I have done that. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I be forgetting the own content that I make. Hold on. About to go to my own channel real quick. Bye, YouTube.